Howdy neighbors, I wanted to make another video here this week to introduce you to this lick, which we call the Dean Webb lick. It's a lick that I learned from my dad, and Red perhaps obviously learned it from Dean Webb, and it was one of the licks that he learned early on that really helped him with his bluegrass improvising. And it's a great lick, and it was originally, this video was released on the Facebook group Exploring Bluegrass Mandolin, which you can check out if you haven't been aware of that. And I also included it in Monroe Style Improvising 2, Dive In Deeper. That whole course is going to be on sale here for a special Noya Mountain Music YouTube channel discount code. And that is available till April 30th. 2024 with the discount code Diving Deeper. Here's what the lick sounds like, you know. Something like that. It's a great lick that you can take from chord to chord. Without any further ado, we'll go ahead and roll that video. Hope you enjoy connecting with it. It's a very powerful tool for improvising, especially if you're just breaking into improvising, like, you know, intermediate level. So here we go with Red's explanation of the Dean Webb lick.
I was exposed to this Dean Webb stuff early on because my Uncle John Hedgecoth just played me and taught me note by note on tape Dean Webb breaks, Southfield Dillard's albums. And somehow the Dean Webb licks meshed with my brain. It was something I could understand to play mandolin that way.
That's so good. What's that called? It's Dixie Breakdown.
That was Dixie Breakdown, yeah.
Yeah, about what year did that come out?
62, 61. It was on their live album. Their first album was really good, but when they listened to it, it was disappointing because they didn't have the audience response they always did when they played on stage. And so the next album was a live one. And it's the most incredible album. The Dillards Live Almost, the album cover is a gag. The three band members are standing mournfully behind Rodney, who is laid out on a casket with a bunch of flowers in his hand. The Dillards Live Almost. Anyway, it features Mitchell Jane's MC work, which is absolutely brilliant. I don't think there was ever another bluegrass MC that could do what Mitchell could in just making the crowd have fun and telling hilarious stories. And so, anyway, that Dillard's Live and Dixie Breakdown, it may have been side 2, number 1. I've forgotten now. It's been a while since I listened. But it's full of great mandolin licks. I used to know both mandolin breaks, and I might be able to come up with part of them because they're full of really learnable licks.
Beautiful
stuff like that, and then what? I was trying to remember the first half of the second break a while ago.
Yeah. Great phrasing, great whole shape, you know, getting way high.
And that, I think I probably scrambled up some of the lines, but his music is so listenable. It holds together so well, and it's not very hard to learn. It's not nearly as technical challenging as Monroe stuff, which would have been. To really seriously study Monroe stuff meticulously would have been almost an impossible thing for somebody who was just starting on the mandolin.
Yeah.
Playing an instrument
Yeah,
before.
definitely.
But the Dean Webb stuff, you know, flows, the melodies made sense. My brain and hands were able to do that. We're talking about that slide lick that Dean Webb did. It's really useful, for example, in going from E in the 5 chord down to A at the end of a break. But you can also use it in the middle of a break. For example, if you're in an E chord and you're going to an A chord, and after that you're going to a D chord. Let's watch those slide licks. Here comes the E chord. Let's play the first part of the break like this so we can get oriented. E, A, and then down to the D. So it's and then you're in your D lick. And then an ending chord.
Perfect. And these are licks that you can play on so many songs.
Yeah. I mean, there hundreds of bluegrass songs can be played using these licks, and that's what Dean did. Yeah. Dean had an awful lot of musicality, and he had a career in arranging music. He was a superb arranger. In fact, Dean, as I just learned recently, was the one who arranged the Byrds vocals on Mr. Tambourine Man. He could really do that kind of thing. In other words, he was not just a mandolin player, Bill, but it's played at a different speed. Mm-hmm. And so forth. That stuff is right out of 1940s Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys, but he's playing it up tempo instead of.
Right.
What Bill did is and it works.
Yeah.
In spite of being half again or twice as fast or 3 times as fast, it really works. That's a great lick, and you can use it also out of D.
Yeah.
It's a simple lick, and it sounds good.
It does.
What more do you want?
And how do you take that up to B, like that same lick?
Oh, well, you could, of course, just make it a stop. Or C.
And then you can bring that over to the 4 chord.
You can play it anywhere. You can plant your first finger.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just is another one of those simple licks that Dean came out with. There's a genius in simplicity sometimes. That is, it isn't a simple thing to make up something simple that's great. But Dean was able to do that. He could make up fairly simple mandolin licks, to my ears, then and now, but they're great licks.
Well, there, I feel like that's, for me, like meat and potatoes land for finding all the melodies.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there's so much. Well, of course, they're pieces of chords. Yeah. They are. And John pointed out early on that if you know your chords on the mandolin, then you can do so much stuff just with the chords. And Dean Webb's double stops are that way. And I've used that in Dixie Breakdown in A. And
so
also
right there,
in G.
So that last lick you played, that was going to a 4 chord, so you ended up in a D chord, right?
Exactly. Yeah. This is all these particular double stops that Dean did were intended to transition from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. So,
thing, yeah.
And then.
And where does it go from there? It's a little 1-5-1 turnaround.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was the second half of the break. He did an amazing second break over the stops, the stop part of the break in Dixie. Yeah. Well, I get tracked off now. Oh, okay, here we go. This is pure Dean Webb licks. The second half of the break. I was trying to play the first half there. His characteristic lick.
It's so great that you're doing it slow there. And then this is mandolin to me that is really fun to play, that builds up speed pretty easily.
Yeah, and he played it at a blinding speed too, and probably without even looking at it. He played mandolin like that.
But for no one that's ever played a fast tune, could be a good one to try.
Because this stuff sounds so good. It sounds good at any speed.
Yeah.
And that break, just that lick, for example, that one lick, you can play so many places. You can play it there in A, you can play it here in A, you can play it in D, you can play it here. There's so much there, and I think it's related to some stuff Bill did, maybe back on the Monroe Brothers recordings even.
Yeah.
And the stops, I think Dean got some of these sliding double stops from Bill. And I've forgotten the exact references there. I'd have to listen to an awful lot of Monroe Brothers to figure out what they were. But anyway, I got off the track of this particular lick.
And can you play that up on the high the high part, or yeah. Yeah, could you do that a couple more times? Yeah. And then you can find that same lick in D. So it's the exact same fingering.
It is.
Yeah.
And so once you it's a stop position, so you can play it in C, B flat, B. It's such an attractive lick. It's fun to play, and you can play it anywhere.
Yeah. So there you have it from Red Henry, and this is the Gospel of Bluegrass Mandolin double stops. Adios. So once again, as we always like to do at the end of the video, please think about giving the video a like and sharing it if you like to. Leave a little comment, tell us what you're connecting with if you want to. And if you'd like to support the channel, you can think about becoming a Noya Mountain Music Patreon supporter, patreon.com/Noya Mountain Music. And we will see you on the next one.